Okay, so Arun, we were texting about this the other day, but okay, so there's this post, right? It says "Good game, everyone," and it's like the red line is the S&P, and then the white line here is the total
Job
job
opening.
openings, and then like you see this line here, this is ChatGPT released, and the exact moment the lines diverge and like job openings tank, and the S&P keeps on going up and up. So that's option one or screen one, possibility one. Here's the explanation, the second explanation, which is that the zero interest rate era is a thing of the past. And so the zero interest rates here, 2020 zero interest rates, and then all of a sudden interest rates go up, and then that's when job openings go down. So the idea here is not ChatGPT didn't cause like jobs to go away. It is zero interest rates cause jobs to go away. Arun, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I just think when people bring up interest rates, it's like their way of kind of avoiding the topic, which inevitably is that like AI is just ultimately going to replace a lot of jobs. They are finding ways to innovate in all kinds of unique ways with agents, right? And so AI agents are going to be able to do a lot of different tasks. And so people are always just looking for like a standard economic response. Oh, it's just about interest rates, or it's like, something that like their Wall Street Journal mind, hopes is true, right? And like to me, when people come up with the like interest rate argument to this, it's just like they're trying to find any excuse to not really deal with the truth, which is, in my opinion, and I think the opinion of many people, is that like artificial intelligence and robotics are just going to replace a lot of aspects of human labor, right? And
Mhm.
there's just no getting around that. And the economy will do better because of that, because in a way, we are kind of a weight on the economy. People are always like, oh, yeah, you need, great people to, build your economy. But do you really need great people anymore? You need great human capital when you have robots that can work 24/7, and you have artificial intelligence that's smarter than any other human. So
Yeah, what's
that's
interesting for me about this is there are certain jobs that I just see it's a no-brainer are going to go away. Like Andrew Yang was talking about call center jobs going away, 8 years ago, and there's no way they're surviving. A lot of writing jobs going away. I mean, Hollywood itself is probably gonna need like a tenth of the people making the work.
yeah.
Other jobs, I can't wrap my mind around what the like how AI is going to impact it. And maybe AI can completely do any given job 1,000 times more, but maybe for whatever reason, we have like there's some like nostalgia for the human call center person, and so even though they're not needed, maybe they're there, maybe not for the call center, but for like other jobs. I don't know. Like maybe you want to support the fast food chain that still has a person there or some. I mean, I just don't know. Like I feel like at some level we don't know yet. Am I just being a fence sitter about this, or like I
I
don't
just
know?
think like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things, like, for instance, a lawyer or an accountant. I mean, those are very basically like rules-based type jobs, right? Essentially, right? And you could kind of create an LLM that will be able to process and do a lot of that type of work, right?
Entry
And
level lawyer jobs. I don't know why anyone would hire an entry level lawyer right now. I've
yeah,
I've been to law school and like I've done some of those jobs. Everything I would have done, like
yeah,
AI can totally do 100%.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
See,
yeah, that's another job I see. Just
yeah,
I don't disagree with that sentiment, but I also think that there's going to be some delta on the other end of this of what gets created from it that we just don't know yet. And the
mhm.
question is, can the person who is, let's say, driving the car that the Waymo takes over do that job? Like, I actually think there's probably going to be a lot more. It's just like, for example, before the iPhone and the App Store, millions, if not billions of dollars of revenue from all these, yeah, maybe, I don't know, we at trillions at this point, but like, there's an entire ecosystem of people that create an entire development platform for all these different applications that now there's millions of people getting work from. I'm just saying, it's like there's a bigger ecosystem that was created from it than was necessarily destroyed from it, right? So like the people who used to print map books are no longer, because now we just have Apple Maps and Google Maps, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, they're gone, but now what did we create? Like everybody can get anywhere they want as fast as they need to, or as fast as humanly possible in a sense, because they have exact directions with to the minute everything, and the how much that enables people in terms of productivity has much outweighed the people we lost making the maps. The problem here is, okay, that's fine if it's just a small segment of people or over time, you know, like maybe the coal miners in West Virginia or something. But what happens when it's like 30% of the population? And so that's where I'm unsure. Like, how much of this is going to be, wow, 30%? Like, because I think the Great Depression was like 25% unemployment or something like that, right? Is it going to be at that extreme or not? And so now, how can we put things in place so that when we get to that inevitability of the shift, that we can shift gracefully, right? I mean, that's why I'm a proponent of UBI personally, but like, you know, I'm not really for the teach people to code or whatever
Yeah, I mean,
restructuring processes are.
one thing that's interesting about the UBI scenario is that I feel like people are actually like super good at coming up with new jobs. They're just not super good at coming up with new jobs that pay anything. So we're an example right here. You know, like I spend way more time watching like YouTube videos and like listening to podcasts than I do watching Netflix movies or any sort of movie, anything that makes money. Like most of the things that I watch are like smallish YouTube channels or maybe sometimes big ones, but like by and large, the people I watch aren't making huge paychecks from what they do. Right. And it's like, if Hollywood kind of sort of goes away, I don't think that like the YouTube creator space is going to go away. There's just not going to be like the money there necessarily. And so maybe you just need the UBI to come in and fill that gap or something. And maybe that's a parallel for other parts of the economy at some level. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. Let me
Yeah,
get
I
your,
will just say that. Well, I'll just say one last thought, which is that, like, if you think about it, so like, what was Hollywood? It was because you had enough talent and resources to do what it took to make these films. They coalesced physically around locations, right? And it took not just a recent, you know, like it's recently with generative AI and all these things that are changing the way that film works. You know, you bring a really good point that YouTube and these types of platforms are like the number one consumer platforms for people now, right? It used to be,
Mhm.
hey, everybody went and looked at a tube that was displayed in front of everybody and you had to sit and watch. There was no reruns and you were ingesting this. And now it's like, okay, we're able to literally anyone on earth can afford to have a phone pretty much, because you can even get like a $50 or $100 phone now and it can take a video. And if you really want, you can make a video and upload it to YouTube, right? And so like literally almost billions of people can do what it took a small subset of people to. Maybe not all billions of them can make a whole production, but now with the generative AI, really they can, right? So it's democratized this thing that's now, it's like it used to be a thing that's specialized. Now it's like, okay, everybody has the ability. So I think the same is going to be true with these generative AI tools. Like all these things that are going to create general intelligence for us are going to just make it so that like it's like inevitable that you can all these access to things that are and knowledge will be one of those things. Like you expect there to be water in your sink, you expect there to be lights in your, you know, in your electricity and whatever, right? You expect there to be certain standards. Like you're going to expect that like knowledge is available and cheap and available. Like it used to be scholars who used to have books that, you know, who could write. I mean, like if you go far back enough and like they were able to like teach the people and talk to them and tell them stories or whatever. And now it's going to be like, no, it's democratized, everybody has access to it. And that's going to fundamentally change our expectations, right? And like what it takes to work and whatnot. So anyways, I kind of went on a diatribe there.